What's going on, guys? Good morning. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about overtraining. I know I haven't made a video in a while and tons of stuff going on, reasons for it. Anyway, last exam is going to be on Monday, which is like in what, 3 days. So then I will be around more, and we're going to be starting a series in the new year. And over the 12 months, the goal is going to be a 700-pound deadlift, a 405 bench press, and a 500-pound squat. So that's going to be a 1-year goal. So let's do it. Hello. Getting rudely interrupted in my YouTube video. Anyway, okay, sorry about that, guys. So anyway,
Sorry about that.
you do realize you're still in it.
What?
It's still recording.
Oh.
Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna cut it because I don't cut stuff. Anyway, so that's the plan. And anyway, but before I get into that, I'm gonna talk to you guys about overtraining. And people that message me all the time, I'm terrified of overtraining. And they'll send me their workout split, and the last thing they need to be worried about is overtraining. They might even be undertraining. They're not overtraining, not even close. Overtraining exists. Let's get that out of the way right now. It's proven, it's a medical condition. It exists. I know for a fact I have overtrained because I've had the symptoms. Now, I haven't done it for so long that you need to be hospitalized, etc. But I have definitely overreached to the point that my training is no longer effective. And other than the times when I was rowing at a high level, we were training literally twice a day, and I was doing weights every day as well. I was literally training 3 times a day. I have not overtrained until this year. Because if you go to the gym and you do weights once a day, the odds that you're going to overtrain is pretty slim. It's possible, don't get me wrong, but what most of you guys are doing, even if you're training 7 days a week, you're probably not overtraining. And if you are, it's probably not because your volume is too high, it's probably because you're not eating enough and not sleeping enough. Now, that being said, during my last, not during my last prep, after my last prep, I tried doing bench press, squats, and deadlifts every single day, 7 days a week, heavy. Worked up to a max on all 3 every single day. Did it for 5 weeks. Now, it worked extremely well. And you're doing something every day, I got better results. That's not rocket science to figure out. But there's obviously a breaking point where your body can't recover from 5 sets of squats, 5 sets of deadlifts, 5 sets of bench, plus my full bodybuilding workout I would do afterwards. So I was training twice a day, and I pretty much would go in and I would do, let's say I was doing chest. I would do bench press. I do my 5 sets of bench press. I do my whole chest workout. Is that what I was doing? Yeah, I do my whole chest workout. And then I'd go back in the evening and I'd do deadlifts and squats. And then I would do another lighter chest workout. So literally training every body part every single day. And the body part I was focused on, I'd be hitting it twice. So this was super effective for about 4 weeks. And I got incredible results. You guys saw my progressions over the spring. Like my bench press went from 275 to 315. My deadlift went from 415 to 500. And my squat fucking sucks. We all know that. My squat went from 280 to 340. So it worked. And then I kept doing it. So I realized it's a great tool for me because if I do that for 2 weeks and then just go back to my normal stuff, it works incredible. Now, I did try to do it for 5 weeks. And the 5th week, I went into the gym, and my max at that time were about 5-plate deadlift, 345, 350 squat, whatever. And no, that's a lie. At that time, it was a 475 deadlift, maybe a 335 squat, and a 315 bench. So I went in the gym, and I remember I went over to deadlifts, I put on 405 and literally pulled it for one of the hardest reps I ever pulled in my life. It literally felt like I was pulling a max. And I stood up, I was super sore, I was exhausted, it was nighttime. When I tried to do bench press, literally went in, put on 225, got 4 reps. Couldn't do anything. There was just no strength left. It's like you were running at 100 miles an hour and you just hit a brick wall. That is a sign of overtraining. And I didn't even really reach true overtraining because to really overtrain, you have to hit that point and keep going. You have to try to keep going and you're just going to burn yourself out. And that's when you have serious problems. But if you go and you have one workout like that, then you pull back a little bit, take 1 or 2 days off, and then go back to your training, you're not overtraining, you just slightly overreached. Most people would say you severely overtrained at this point. You haven't severely done anything. You haven't negatively impacted your results at all. So what? You went in one workout, you messed up one workout after getting 5 weeks of results. That's not overtraining. That is, I got a ridiculous amount of good results. I was out for 2 days and then I can come back and hit it all again. That's not overtraining. Overtraining is when you get to a point that you are negatively impacting your results for a long period of time. You're making yourself sick. Your blood pressure is super high. You're sweating. You feel like you're on stimulants all the time, which like I kind of did for the last week. I'm not going to lie. I felt pretty terrible and I did overreach maybe, but overtraining, you have that. People can have that for years. Professional athletes will have those symptoms for years, months and years on end. And then they have serious issues because your blood pressure is sitting at an unhealthy amount, unhealthy level. Your heart rate's through the roof. You're sweating. Your mental state is just completely messed up. It's almost like your whole life revolves around training. So most people will never get to that point. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. All of you guys worried about overtraining aren't overtraining. The guys that are overtraining are the guys that think there's no such thing as overtraining and that their body can just go forever and they'll never burn themselves out. Those are the guys that need to worry about overtraining. And we don't. You won't worry about it because you have that mindset. But just be smart enough that when you hit that brick wall, you know how to pull yourself back so you don't injure yourself, etc. Because let's be honest, your body will tell you when to stop. And your body won't allow you to go too far into overtraining most of the time. Unless there's a ton of drugs and stuff involved. If you're a natural lifter, your body won't allow you to go into overtraining that much. And I'll tell you what, because first of all, you go in the gym, you'll be able to lift nothing. Now, yeah, if you're taking 3 grams of gear a week, yeah, you can take more drugs and you'll be able to cover that up. Yes, you will be able to do that. You're going to screw up your central nervous system, etc. You'll have signs of overtraining, but you'll just push through it because you're taking enough drugs that you're not going to have any problems. But if you're natural, you're not going to be able to get to that point because you're going to walk in the gym. Say you're a 300-pound bencher, you're going to walk in the gym and barely be able to do 225. You're going to walk in the gym, you're going to be a 400-pound squatter and you'll barely be able to do 315. It's going to be pretty obvious that you've overtrained if you're natural. So don't be worried about it. Just work as hard as you can every single day and be smart enough that when you start to see those symptoms, you can pull yourself back and maybe take a day off, maybe readjust your training, etc. Do a deload week, whatever. But guys tell me I'm training 4 days a week, I think I'm overtraining. You're not overtraining anything. You're probably undertraining. In my opinion, people should train every day. If you train 6 days a week, that's fine. I have no issues with training 6 days a week. Taking a day off, I don't think there's any problem with that. But in my opinion, anyone can train 7 days a week. And that's just the facts. And on top of that, if you are trying to build as much muscle as you can, trying to get as strong as possible, you should be doing bench press, squats, deadlifts at least 3 times a week. All of those. It doesn't mean you have to go in and do a full chest work, a full back work, a full leg work 3 times a week. You can. That might be a little bit extreme. That might cause you to overtrain, possibly, if you're doing a lot of squats, deadlifts, and bench press. But to be realistic, what I do, for instance, I do that all 3 times a week. But on chest day, I do my bench press, obviously, I do chest, and then I do a couple sets of deadlifts. So that's what I do. And then I'll do shoulders and a couple sets of squats. So in 2 days, I've already hit all of those big lifts. And then I'll do back, and on back day, so I'll do deadlifts, obviously. I'll do a couple sets of bench press as well. And normally I'll even throw in a couple sets of squats, to be honest. Because shoulders and arms isn't really that difficult of a workout. And then I will do legs. So legs, obviously I'm going to do bench press. I'm obviously going to do squats. And then I throw in a couple sets of bench press. And depending on how I feel, I'll throw in a couple sets of deadlifts. But I'm doing all those lifts at least 2 to 3 days a week. So, and that's what works. You have to hit things consistently to get results. And don't be afraid of overtraining because your body will tell you when you're overtrained. And most of the time your body, when you start to see the symptoms, you really haven't started to negatively impact your results yet. just start to feel tired, etc. And most people are smart enough that they're not going to push themselves past that point. They're like, okay, I need a day off now. And then you'll go back at the gym hard the next day. Most people don't get to the point that they walk in the gym and they have no strength and they feel sick, etc. So my opinion is stop worrying about overtraining. That is the one time I've ever overtrained. And it was pretty obvious. I should have been able to see that coming. And I kind of did. I just kind of wanted to see what my body was capable of doing. And then I walked in the gym, couldn't do anything. Smart enough to say, okay, I need to take a day off, revamp my program, do a deload week where I bench, squat, and deadlift one day a week, do my normal bodybuilding split, kind of recover, and then go back to it. So this spring, let's get to that for a second. Sorry, I kind of rambled on for a long time. This spring, we're going to do this. I'm going to do bench. I'm going to do the same thing. So basically, I'm going to do squats, bench press, deadlift every single day, but only for 1 week. And then, sorry, for 2 weeks, then do 1 week of just my normal chest. So chest, obviously, I'll have bench press in it. Shoulders, back, legs. So on back day, shoulders, I do standing press. Back day, deadlifts, leg day, squats, my primary movement. Do that twice in 8 days, and then reset. So then I'll do bench, squat, and deadlift every single day, plus a bodybuilding split for 2 weeks. And then same thing, take the week. So 2 weeks of intense training, 1 week of still intense training, just like slightly less volume. That's what I'm going to try. And the goal is going to be, like I said, a 700-pound deadlift, which we're going to see how that works because that's a lot of weight. That's like adding that's almost 200 pounds added to my deadlift. So, but that's the goal. I have a year, so I should be able to do that. Like I said, 405 bench press, 500-pound squat, which is going to be insane because I really have to work on my squat. My squat is disgusting. So during this, my priority is going to be on my squat because I know if I get my squat up to 500 pounds, my deadlift will be at 700 pounds. I don't even really have to do deadlifts to get that. So anyway, I'll come up with the whole training program, but that's pretty much the goal. I'd like to strict press 225 pounds for standing press. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's what we're going to be doing in the new year. So stay tuned for that. January 1st, or the Monday or whatever day it is after January 1st, is when we'll start that program. So if you guys want to follow along, I am going to write out the whole program. It's going to be available for you guys. And I'm actually going to write that in the next couple days. So it's available before New Year's 1st so you guys can get it and look at it. So anyway, I appreciate all the support. That's the plan. Stop worrying about overtraining. I'm going to come up with a program. It's going to be freaking hard. It's going to be a lot of work. But you might see symptoms of overtraining, but you're not actually going to reach overtraining. You might be overreaching slightly. And that's part of training. You want to see what your body's actually capable of doing. Because if you never hit your limits, then you never know what they are. So I think that's really important to know what your body's capable of. Anyway, I appreciate all the support. I'm going to eat some breakfast, get this day started, and I will talk to you guys soon.